The 900th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up. Promo code MMA SGPN.
Howdy ho, degenerados. Welcome to episode 900 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. That's dedicated to the man who's been on all 900 episodes. That would be the one and only Daniel Gumby Vreeland. It's kind of fitting. Episode 900 is a Contender Series episode because that's one of the ways that we built our brand up here. Because Gumby is very good at picking Contender Series fights. Who am I? I'm the bus driver, Jeff Fox. It's kind of what my job is here. I keep the bus moving. Keep feeding Gumby the info, and then he spits out the winning plays for you. Special shout out to our friend Sam, who says that we're yuck. He on Spotify, he's back. He says Aaron Toe is from New Zealand, you uncultured swine, which is very true. I am an uncultured swine, and he is from New Zealand. Both of those facts are true. That's Gumby Vreeland. He, like I said, he's a Contender Series expert here. He's very excited about this week's Contender Series event. Are you not? There's a guy in the main event that used to beat up when he was a youngster, isn't it?
I think you're putting words in my mouth, but like
I said it, not you.
He used to go to the same gym as me when he was in college and I was, let's say, not in college. And I had maybe been training for a touch longer than he had, and as a result, more than likely got the better of him in most of the exchanges. But I wouldn't want to run into him now. He's a bad mamma jamma now, and he's on Contender Series. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see him fight here. And he's got a tough matchup. It's going to be a real fun one.
And you didn't let him punch when you guys were
correct. Yes, we were strictly jujitsuing it up. Yeah,
punching changes everything.
And let me tell you too. Even when he was like a youngster, right? Like he was not what he is now. He was already like one of those dudes who was like freaky strong without before he was even like as buff as he is now. Like he was like already like had his man strength at like 19 or whatever he was. So yeah, he's one of those guys.
Did you see this coming or a potential?
I'm going to be honest, no, because first of all, I don't go to any striking classes, so I don't ever see how people strike. So I had no idea that was true about him. He's also like the sweetest dude on the planet. Like he's so nice. Like when people found out he wanted to fight, they were like, Jack? And actually the first promotion that he was fighting for, Cage Titans, wanted to try to get the nickname Gentleman Jack going for him.
Nice.
And he would not let that stay. He was not about it.
No, that's funny. All right. Thoughts on week 3 Contender Series? You went 3-2, but it's been the dogs have not been barking for you.
Well, they almost did because second fight, we were up 2 rounds to none and just
you fought for your money.
Pathetic. Did he? Pathetically ran out of gas.
Until the 3rd round. And then
he ran out. Yeah, he ran out of gas pretty much as gross as you possibly can, which is confusing because he had all the top control. So, like, why are you tired?
Yeah.
Not that it's not tiring to fight, but, like, it was a confusing fight. So, yeah, it was chalky. There's a couple of guys I like on it regardless of the fact that they were maybe given some pretty obvious opponents. Like, Yakyaev. He's fun. He's a good striker. And unfortunately, like I would have liked to see more of him, but he fought Alec Lorenz. And like, again, I like Lorenz, but like Lorenz is a guy who's like hittable. And that's like his biggest flaw. And you put him in there with a guy who can hit really well. And guess what? Yeah, he got hit. Yanni, by the way, had the submission prop on that one.
How is he doing this year? Is someone tracking? Someone used to always track.
This past week was not good. He took Darian Abbey. I'm gonna just say
he took everybody that lost in half a minute.
He didn't take them all, but he did take Darian Abbey, the 7-4 journeyman, to beat the undefeated prospect who just throws mad haymakers and is fast as hell. And really should be at light heavyweight. And his reason was he's bigger. And it was like, yeah, he is bigger.
Even I don't do that sometimes.
No. You just say he punches harder.
Yeah, exactly.
But that wasn't true.
He doesn't punch harder.
No, he didn't punch harder. And so, I think I haven't been tracking him. But it's been a chalky season. So maybe the underdogs bite here. Who knows?
Yeah, we shall see. Anyone you're super stoked about from
Everybody
week 3?
on this. On the week 3?
Yeah, last week. Yeah. Who got contracts? Did all
Everybody.
the winners or
all the winners did?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say Yakyaev is probably I'm excited about two Andres, Dante Johnson. He needs to be at light heavyweight though, and
no more two entrees. Well, maybe that's why he changed his nickname.
Well, no, he only weighed 209. This is a short notice fight.
Right.
So he is already he might be able to make middleweight, to be completely frank.
Right.
But he's a 205er with exciting hands, but he's real green, and I think I've said it every single time we've broken his fights down. I mean, I just don't know how he does defending a takedown. Nobody's ever really shown it to me. So he looks so good and so exciting and so fun, and I just still have that question in the back of my mind.
Right. Well, he can knock out people that are big and tall. That's for sure. So he didn't have any trouble finding that chin on Tuesday night. So, all right. Gumby wants to talk about week 4. See, he wanted to tell you how amazing week 4 was, but we'll dive into it after. I remind you that football is back like you need to be told. And so is our amazing merch sale, 25% off everything in the merch store at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store with the promo code football, FOOTBALL. Make sure to check out all the MMA Gambling Podcast merch. We have lots of good stuff. Lots of stuff with our silly expressions on it. So check it all out. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Football is your code for 25% off. And SGPN just launched their NFL Survivor contest. $100 entry, winner take all. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Plus, if you're new to Splash Sports, which is what we use for the contest, promo code FINALS gets you a $10 credit over there. All right. All that out of the way. Gumby, you're excited about week 4, are you? You like everyone on the card, I think is what you're going to say.
Honestly, yes. I would
or
tell
everyone you're picking to win, you like.
I think I like all the people I'm picking to lose.
Okay,
I think in all, this is the closest I've ever seen on a Contender Series card to being perhaps all 10 of these guys could have just been in the UFC.
Yeah. I even know most of these guys. So that tells you. A dummy like me knows a lot of the people. Plus our boy is on it. So not Jack Congdon, another one of our boys is on it. So let's dive into it. It's going down, of course, on Tuesday, September the 2nd. Yes, September is here almost already. Not 8 p.m. start time, ESPN Plus. 5 fights. No odds yet because the books are cowards. They want to see where Gumby picks these fights, and then they go. Have the odds been paying attention to your picks more or less, Gumby?
I mean, pretty much what I guessed last week was exact. I expected 2 guys to be underdogs, and they were, and 3 guys to be favorites, and they were, and roughly by as much as I thought.
Yep. All right, let's kick things off this week with the featherweight bout. Tommy McMillan, he is from United States. David Mgoyan, he is from Russia. They're both undefeated. That's exciting. Let's break her down. Mgoyan is 7-0, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. His last bout was a TKO win. He went 1-0 in LFA. He's 7 years younger than McMillan. Tommy Gunn McMillan, 8-0, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. He owes his rounds. I guess both guys do. He's a regional champ. He's fight at 135 and 155. He's 2 inches taller than Mgoyan.
My guess here, I'm going to say Tommy McMillan, negative 175, maybe negative 180. And I'm going to take Tommy McMillan. Tommy McMillan was booked to be on the Contender Series already. I don't know if you know that. And he had to pull out of the fight with an injury. He was originally supposed to fight Austin Bashi way back last year. And I already done all of my research for that fight and had picked Tommy McMillan, which tells you what I think of this guy.
Yeah.
This guy he trains with Sean O'Malley. He's one of Sean O'Malley's top training partners over in Arizona. He's got the Sean O'Malley style of hands. Does he have the accuracy? Does he have the footwork? No, he doesn't have it all yet. He's got that style of hands. He's electric. He gives you weird angles. He hits you with uppercuts. He just ducks out of the way of your shots and hits you with a straight. He's very fun to watch strike. But the best part of that too is he's already sort of filled out the defensive side of the grappling game. Digs for underhooks right away, gets away from the grappling exchanges, forces you to strike with him. And then on top of that, I mean, go back and look at his record. He's got sneaky chokes too. So not only is he stuffing these people and forcing them to strike with him, but when they get tired and continue to do it, he's like, that's fine. I'll guillotine you. That's fine. I'll move to your back and rear naked choke you. He's got subs to go along with those hands. And, Mgoyan is a guy who is clearly getting this shot because, first of all, McMillan's first opponent fell off. But second of all, he's undefeated. He fought for Tough Enough. He fought for CFFC. He's fought for all the good promotions. And, we talked about Frank Wells in the opening fight on yesterday's show, right? Mgoyan is one of the 4 guys who has beaten Frank Wells. And if you go back and you watch that fight too, Mgoyan's takedowns on him are just it's not like they're bad, but they're ill-timed. They're not. The shot itself looks fine, but it's just why did he shoot it then when he wasn't as close, or when the movement from McMillan was wrong, or he duck under a shot and instead of shooting right in on the double, he's waiting and then circling again and then he's shooting in the double. He missed his timing. And so he's a good wrestler, but the fact of the matter is he's fought guys who are less good at defending takedowns than McMillan, and he's been able to just sort of make his way through it with the mistakes he's had. Whereas I think if he makes the mistakes here against McMillan, I think McMillan pops it. I think he hurts him real bad. I think the underhooks are going to be there for him on the entries, and I think he's going to either finish him with a sub or the hands. I think Tommy McMillan here, I like his chances to get a finish too.
Tommy Gunn's going to go pop, pop, pop. All right, Tommy McMillan is a pick. Topology agrees. They're 77%, I think, on him.
I'm a little surprised on that. I thought they loved Mgoyan, but
hopefully that changes, right? Or at least the odds change for us. We're going to fly. Actually, if it was in the -170s, that'd be okay, I guess. We're at flyweights now. Eduardo Henrique versus Antoine Ho, our boy. That's the other boy I was referring to. We've got Brazil versus Vietnam.
I think you got to put a space in there. Antoine Ho.
Antoine.
Not Antoine Ho.
Put some respect on his name. He is the highlight. 7-1, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once. That was famously on Contender Series by Lonnie Kavanaugh, who he himself just got beat. He won his last bout. He bounced back from Ho bounced back from his loss. TKO win in his last bout. All of his fights taking place in LFA, other than the Contender Series one. So he's 7-0 in LFA, 0-1 in Contender Series. He's 5 years younger than Henrique. He's an inch taller. Henrique is Chapelin, which Gumby says is some sort of hammer type thing. I think right?
He carries a toy mallet. I have to imagine that has to do with his nickname.
You'd hope, but who? Some fighters are different kind of birds. So, all right. Chapelin is 14-2, 7 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once. He's taking this fight on short notice, very short notice. So short that Gumby had to tell me right as we're about to record this episode that he stepped in. He is 4-1. He went 4-1 in LFA and is the current champion. He's won 4 straight fights. He's not lost since July 2022. He used to fight up at 135, and he made his pro debut in 2015.
Yeah, and I'm just going to caveat some things. You're right. He's technically won 4 in a row, but also he's basically 1-1 in his last 2 because he did lose to Joseph Morales by submission on the Ultimate Fighter just before his most recent fight. So, yes, he has won 4 in a row, but then there was a weird layoff in there, and he did pick up a loss smack dab in the middle, and it was kind of the same way as he's lost earlier in his career. Because the thing about Chapelin, right, is Chapelin is an amazing striker, right? That's his MO. But he's maybe not the best guy on the mat, and he's shown that now 2 or 3 times in his career. And it's not necessarily only that, but for that reason, I'm taking Antoine Ho. Antoine Ho, my guess. And I think he's got to be an underdog because one's the LFA champ, but he's also been on Contender Series before. He's a hyped prospect. He's not on short note. Maybe plus 150 on Antoine Ho.
That would be nice.
I mean, I could see it being higher, but all of those things working against Henrique. So, for me, again, I just told you how much I like Henrique. He knocked out Devin Lozage, which I called. He looked great in that fight. But the problem for me is that I think he has trouble with guys who can hit him and take him down. That was what he had trouble with Joseph Morales. If you want to go back to his previous losses, if you can hit him and take him down both, he struggles with because he can defend a takedown. He did against Lozage, but he wasn't worried about Lozage's hands at all. I don't think you can not be worried about Antoine Ho's hands. The guy is electric, and he's coming off of a knockout win, and he looks really good on the feet. So I think for me, the fact that Antoine Ho can wrestle a little bit, right? He went and won a wrestling match with Miguel Sanson, which is Miguel Sanson is legit on the regional scene. So knowing that he could win a grappling match like that and also hurt Chapelin on the feet, I think keeps Henrique kind of on his feet and not really knowing what to do and unable to let go. And then in addition to that too, like I think Antoine Ho is just like a touch better in terms of his defensive striking, right? Like Henrique obviously has some big power. Ho has some big power. But if you watch Henrique's fight against Lozage that happened, by the way, only 10 days ago. So, right, like he's not going to be in the best fight shape, despite the fact that fight ended early. You know, there's a mental tax and a physical tax that goes along with that. And he's making weight twice in 2 weeks. So like there's that aspect of it all too. But if you watch that fight, like he's able to throw a little bit more wild, knowing that he's not going to get clipped by Lozai, who is not as good of a striker. I think Antoine Ho is just like better fundamentally in the striking and defense. And that comes with saying that, yes, he did get knocked out by Lonnie Kavanaugh. But Kavanaugh was like wicked quick and that was some real slick stuff. But with all that being said, you know, I think the all around game of Antoine Ho between the striking defense, the grappling and what he can do similarly to Chapeline, while not having to be on short notice, makes me want to take the underdog here. Give me Antoine Ho.
20% are in on Ho on Tapology. So make it a big underdog. That would be nice, eh?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, very nice. All right. Before we get you more winning plays, hopefully underdog plays, let me tell you about MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. We are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. That's why I'm talking about them. MyBookie's your place about in every sport, but mostly they're talking about football right now. They got football and everything else. You're home for NFL and college football. MyBookie's $100,000 NFL Super Contest is on now. It's only a $15 entry, and they're offering buy 2 entries, get 1 free. Not 2 entrees. That's someone else. That's someone we talked about the other day. That was last week's Contender series. So we're talking about 2 entries. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out the Contender series lines there when they drop. And when you do head to MyBookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN. That way you get 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. And Rhythm, that's spelled RITHMM. NFL is back on Rhythm. Last season, Rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19 on over-unders. They really shine on player props. They went 10-5 in Baker Mayfield props. That's a 25% return on investment. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA golf, and college football. Go to the site today and start building your NFL models for week 1. I'm going to press Gumby for another NFL week 1 pick. He's already given about 25 of them.
Yeah, dude, you've been working me hard for these. I'm going to take I'll take Sunday Night Football. We'll go with the Buffalo Bills. While the Ravens have been dangerous pretty much for the last, it feels like a dozen years. Josh Allen, it's his time to shine. Buffalo giving up 1.5 here. I think they can cover that. So give me the Bills, given the points.
All right. Go to Rhythm, see if they agree with Gumby, and you get a 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. All right, the next fight has a Canadian in it, so we may as well just skip it. We know who Gumby's picking.
I really like this Canadian.
He likes this Canadian, though. It's Mandel Nallo, who was on Gumby's podcast, Top Turtle, very recently, and he's got funny topology pictures. He's fighting against Samuel Silva. They're fighting at 155. Silva's from Brazil. He is Caveira, which means skull. 13-4-1, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. He's won 5 straight fights. He's not lost since February 2023. He was the Cage Warriors champion, or is he the Cage Warriors champion?
He is the Cage Warriors
champion. He is, yeah.
Just recently beat George Hardwick.
Yeah, this is, as Gumby said, off the top, this is a very good Contender Series week for sure. He's also a regional champ, or was. He's fed at 145. 2015 Pro MMA debut. He's 4 years younger than Nallo. He's an inch taller. Nallo's Mango, but we know him as Rat Garbage.
Rat Garbage.
Around these parts. Always Rat Garbage for life. He's 13-3 with 1 no contest, 7 knockouts, 6 submissions, so he's finished everyone. And he's been finished in all his losses. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. He owes his rounds. He's won 4 straight and 6 of 8. He's not fought since August 2024. He's not lost, though, since March 2023. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our merch. Get all the good stuff at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember your code football, 25% off. He went 4-3 with 1 no contest in Bellator. He being Nallo. He's fed at 170 and 180. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 3 inches reach over Silva. All right, Gumby.
I'm going to say Silva, -245 is the line here. Maybe close to 200 or just a touch over for Mandel Nallo. Maybe mostly because Nallo is coming off of the layoff. Silva just beat George Hardwick and won himself the Cage Warriors title. This really pains me because I really wanted to take Mandel Nallo, and I think I was breaking down the fight and desperate to find a way to, but I do think Samuel Silva kind of matches up badly with him. This isn't like a Samuel Silva is better than Mandel Nallo handicap, but it is like, I do think the matchup works really well for Samuel Silva. The big piece for me is like Mandel Nallo's jiu-jitsu is nasty. He's really, really sharp on the mat. He can put you in some really bad positions. His submissions come out of nowhere. I love his ground game. It makes him like one of the most fun guys to watch, and it's one of the reasons why I really think he belongs in the UFC. But on the other side of things too, I just don't see the wrestling playing up enough for Mandel Nallo to get Samuel Silva there. And then when you look at Samuel Silva on the feet, like he did lose 2 out of the first 3 rounds to George Hardwick on the feet, but he did beat George Hardwick almost 100% on the feet in round 1. And like that just tells you like the kind of stuff he's coming with. And it's not even necessarily like volume, but it's like when he hit George Hardwick, like George Hardwick bled. George Hardwick like looked like he got smacked. And like that is huge on the judges' scorecards. And like then if you become the guy who can dictate if this goes to the ground or not, like obviously he's going to be the guy in there dropping the bigger bombs. Nallo is a little bit more of a volume kind of guy. I just think those things just play too much in Samuel Silva's favor. And as much as like, look, I hope they wind up sending Mandel Nallo. I hope I'm wrong in this pick. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Samuel Silva here.
All right. We're going up to middleweight. Theo Haig. He is from United States of America. Here's a last name you may recognize. Cezary Oleksiejczuk from Poland. As I said, they're fighting at middleweight, and that's break her down by telling you about Oleksiejczuk. Yes, he is the, I assume, younger brother of Michael Oleksiejczuk. 15-3, 8 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted once, so he's a durable guy. He's won 3 straight, all via TKO. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get a shirt, get a merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember, football is your code for 25% off. He used to fight at 170. He's 1-0 in cage boxing, 1-0 in bare knuckle MMA. 4 years younger than Haig, an inch taller, 4-inch reach advantage over him. Haig is 6-0 with 6 submissions. He's 2-0 in Bellator, RIP, 2-0 in LFA, used to fight at 205.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Oleksiejczuk here. My guess is like -200. Okay. Maybe a touch higher than that. Haig is undefeated, and on one side, yeah, Oleksiejczuk's got the experience. He's 15-3. It's looked pretty good as of late. You got the 6-0 prospect coming from. Is Haig's a LFA guy, right?
He fought 2-0 in LFA. Yeah, 2-0 in Bellator.
So he's in 6-0 with 2 wins in LFA. Like obviously the books are gonna like him too. So I think that pulls it down a little bit against Oleksiejczuk. But man, like I think this is Oleksiejczuk's fight. The big reason his hands are so fast. Really good 1-2 combination. Particularly, capitalizing with the left. He looks really, really sharp there. And if you watch Haig, he's winning all these fights with like some really good entries, but the level of competition he's kind of fought is pretty bad and haven't seen really a lot of pushback against it. He's also a guy who I think is innately like really easy to counter based on the fact that like his hands seem to fly away from his face as he's either feinting or doing these other things. Like as he's trying to draw people out, he almost like tempts them by like being open defensively. And I don't know if it's intentional or if like he just needs to like button up his fundamentals of striking defense, especially when he's throwing kicks or, faking a shot or whatever it might be. But I think that's a nightmare against Oleksiejczuk because Oleksiejczuk, as I just said, really sharp combinations. You leave your hand away from your face, he can hurt you quick. And then more importantly, and I hate bringing the teams people fight for into my handicap because I'm gonna do it anyway because his brother really changed what his striking or his takedown defense looked like after moving to the Fighting Nerds. And when Michael Oleksiejczuk moved to the Fighting Nerds, so did Cezary. Cezary Oleksiejczuk is down training in Brazil with the Fighting Nerds now, despite being a Polish guy and having a name that looks like that. So I kind of expect him to come in here with even better takedown defense than maybe we gave him credit for in the first place. And if that's the case, like I think Haig's going to have a really hard time getting him down. And to me, that's his only avenue to victory. So give me Oleksiejczuk here.
All right. before we get to the main event, let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play at Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Gumby has a play for you right now, I bet.
Sure, yeah, we're going to stick with some Atlanta Braves action because all of a sudden my Atlanta Braves, who are maybe out of the playoffs, are white hot, and they're going to be playing the Phillies on Thursday with Aaron Nola on the mound. Austin Nola would be a lot better for the Braves being on the mound. Yeah, if you pitched a catcher, that would be a good thing. But I'm going to take the higher than on the total basis for Ozzie Albies. Albies has already taken Nola yard twice, and he's had home runs in. He's actually had 3 home runs in his last 2 games. So get Ozzie Albies while he's hot.
All right. Take that play and take the code I'm about to give you, MMA SGPN, and listen to this. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you use the code I just told you, MMA SGPN. And the world's greatest sportsbook, which of course is Circa Las Vegas, is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcondos.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. Contests close on Saturday, September 6th. So get in now before it's too late. All right, main event time. Gummy's former training partner, Jack Congdon, up against Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani. Lebosnoyani. They are both American. They're fighting at 170, 3 5-minute rounds. Lebosnoyani is Mufasa, 8-2, 2 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. He owes his rounds. He's won 3 straight fights. Submission win in his last bout. He's not lost since May 2023. Regional champion, 7-1 in LFA. Used Fed at 155, 1-1 as a pro grappler. 2 years younger than Congdon. Congdon is 7-1, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted once. He owes us rounds. He's won 3 straight, 3 inches taller than Lebosnoyani, and 3-inch reach advantage on him as well.
They didn't have his nickname in there?
No. What is his nickname?
50 cal.
Why? 50 caliber, right. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You Americans and your guns.
Sounds,
yes. Okay.
Sounds tough, I think. I liked Gentleman Jack better, but
of course.
We'll go with what we go with. Look, I'm going to unabashedly be a homer here. Like all of the fights we've broken down, I've got personal relationships with this fighter and that fighter, and I've done interviews with this guy 100 times. I'll pick against guys who I've interviewed. I just picked against Mandel Nallo, despite how much I really like the guy. But like, I'm not picking against Jack Congdon here, and I don't know how much sense it makes. This is like such a fun and exciting fight. I will say I think he comes in here as a large underdog. Perhaps, hear me out on this, perhaps the largest underdog on the card is my guess. Yep. So like, wouldn't be surprised to see him at better than 3-1. And like, whether you like him or not, he's a better value than 3-1. Like he belongs at, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets lined as an underdog just because of the resume of Lebosnoyani. But like, Congdon is nasty and way too tough to be a 3-1 underdog against pretty much anybody here that's going to wind up at welterweight in a Contender series. So I'm going to pick him. I'm going to pick him as a massive underdog here. And my guess is his path to victory, and this is the most important thing in my opinion, is he's got to keep this standing. Lebosnoyani is really nasty on the mat. He's got sick jiu-jitsu skills. He's tapped out guys I thought he's got no chance of tapping out, right? Like, was it Keegan Ginrich he knocked out in that fight? I want to say he tapped out.
I can look it up for you.
I want to say he knocked out, or he tapped out Keegan Ginrich, but like, he's tapped out some like really high level regional opponents. But like Keegan Ginrich. And mostly it's like guys like Ginrich, though, who want to take the fight to the ground. You're not going to see that here from Congdon. And really, he's only really been taken down by one guy in his career, at least in, since he's turned pro and been a high quality pro. And, that was a guy who's fought at the very highest level and is a tough grappler. And, he kind of learned his lesson in that fight. So I think as long as he keeps this on the feet, I think you're going to see, first of all, a guy who's really tough in there. I would say his biggest weakness sometimes is his striking defense. But like Lebosnoyani has been backed up in a lot of his recent fights, both the ones he's won and the ones he's lost. He gets backed up against the cage. And so like Congdon, despite being like maybe there and maybe a touch too hittable, I think he's also dangerous when he's moving forward. And we saw that in each of his last 2 fights where he's picked out big knockouts, both being tough, being strong. I said he had grown man strength when he was 19. I stand by that. And now that he's, in his late 20s anyway, like that strength continues to shine through with like big striking skills. He hits really hard. And I think just like by being the tougher guy and keeping this on the feet, he's got a good chance. So, once again, caveat this with being I'm a huge homer in this one, and it's the only time I'll ever admit that. Because despite the fact that I like a lot of fighters, I probably don't like any of them as much as this guy. So give me the money line here on Jack Congdon.
Might be a homer pick, but you backed it up with some actual analysis and reasons why. You're not just picking him for the heck of it. So,
right.
All right, only 10% are picking Congdon on Tapology. So. Yeah, maybe
and that some of that too is a bias of LFA versus Cage Titans.
Yep.
But he's fought really high level dudes at Cage Titans. He's fought Bellator veterans and beat them, and he's fought he fought a guy who main evented in LFA. Like he's fought some high level dudes too, so don't sleep on him.
Yeah. All right, let's recap. Congdon, Oleksiejczuk, Silva, Ho, and McMillan. Who has the brightest future here, Gumby? Without seeing them fight this week yet. You buying stock. Who you buying stock in first?
I might say Tommy McMillan. To be honest with you, like he's got that like striking that is like it's like a touch away from you start talking about like the word elite or the word untouchable or like one of the top guys. It's there, and like his jiu-jitsu and grappling game is like kind of already rounded out as well. Like usually we're talking about a guy who's like fun striking like Tommy McMillan and being like, yeah, if he only figures out the rest of it, feels like he kind of already did. And then I'll throw a little extra there on Antoine Ho. He's just so damn young. And so being as exciting as he is, as young as he is, if he knocks off the LFA champ to get himself a contract, like who knows what his ceiling's at.
He's one of those people who were born in the 2000s and consider themselves an adult still, which is strange, right?
It's pretty weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the way it's supposed to work.
All right. You're old.
Yep. All right. You're all set for Contender Series now. We got more regional stuff coming for you. LFA has got a event coming up. This is a good event, right? LFA 216. We're going to cover that next time you hear and/or see us. In the meantime, we'll be hanging out in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. On YouTube, you can hit us up in the comments at MMA Gambling Podcast. Of course, Spotify, you can hit us up in the comments there now that I remember to actually check those again. On Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Reela, and I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. At Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram as well. Check out my Substack at moneymma.substack.com. MMA writing and my UFC pick'em contest there. Gummy's got another podcast, Top Turtle. Tell the people who is on Top Turtle this week.
Yeah, we're talking to Tyler Berger, who is fighting on the CFFC card that we covered yesterday. And we're also talking to Street Buddha, Dom Marfan, fresh off his win.
All right. So check out Top Turtle. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember, football is your code for 25% off. And sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. All right, Gumby, bid the people farewell.
All right, I'm Dana Gumby Freeland. He's Rat Garbage, Jeff Fox, and we will see you. I don't know when we see you.